welcome to Sounds from Scotland from the American Scottish Foundation. My name is Jamie McGeechan and I'm so glad you can join us for another episode of Sounds from Scotland. I'm speaking to you from Broken Arrow, Tulsa, Oklahoma, as I'm down here to perform at Scotfest. It's been a wee while since I've been out performing, but it's been a great weekend and such an excellent celebration of Scottish culture. There's been live music, dancing, heavy athletics, great food and drink, incredible weather, and most of all, great people. It's so nice to be around folks again. It feels like it's been quite a while. I'm so glad that you can join us for this new episode of Sounds from Scotland. I've got a great interview coming up with Anthony Alderson, who is the director of the Pleasance Theatre Trust. The Pleasance Theatre is an amazing cultural institution in Edinburgh and also London, and Anthony has been involved in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival for a long time, making excellent productions happen, and he really is such a champion of culture. And it was such a great interview, a great conversation, all about Anthony's passion for people, for the arts, for culture. And the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the Edinburgh International Festival, all the festivals, they were unable to deliver their programme as normal last year due to COVID. And this year they were able to deliver their programmes, albeit at a smaller scale due to limited capacity with COVID. But what they did do was provide an incredible experience for the lucky people who were able to attend. Unfortunately not me, as I'm here in the States, but the Edinburgh festivals are just incredible and they attract people from all around the world every single year. Hopefully I'll be one of them next year. This is my chat with Anthony Alderson of the Pleasance Theatre Trust.
Good afternoon. It's an absolute pleasure to be joined by Anthony Alderson, Director of the Pleasance Theatre. How are you, Anthony?
I'm extremely well and very grateful for you having me back.
Well, thank you so much. I very much enjoyed the conversations that you had with Camilla on the Edinburgh festivals, and I just really enjoyed them so much that I was keen personally to get the chance to speak with you. Although I haven't been in Edinburgh for a wee while now, I'm here in St. Louis, but I'm so much looking forward to getting back, and obviously with the return of the festivals, I'm just so keen to get back. And you have been very busy over the last couple of months, nay, years, and indeed contributing so much to the cultural landscape, not only of Edinburgh, but in London as well. And I was wondering if you could tell me a wee bit about your experiences with the Pleasance and the festivals over the last couple of months, please, Anthony.
Well, it was slightly touch and go as to whether we could do a festival this year. I mean, the changing COVID rules and obviously, just whether audiences would really want to come and be part of it, or even participants, performers would want to come and be part of it. So we didn't make a decision until May, the end of May, that we were really going to do something. And then with some help from Event Scotland, we got a little bit of money to help us underpin the sort of risk of doing it and help sort of pay for some of the COVID mitigations that we had to put in place. And so it's the quickest we've ever put that program together. I mean, it's a very much smaller program than we've ever done. It's probably about 6% of what we would normally put on. But we did it all in record time. I mean, I think in actual fact, 6 weeks from sort of pressing the button to say, right, we're going to do it, to the first audience members coming through the door. So incredibly tight. And that first day, you think you've got everything right. And you say, right, we're not going to have paper tickets because people won't like that. We'll have just online bookings. And of course, the first person to walk through the door, he'd forgotten his glasses. He didn't know how to use his mobile phone, and he didn't understand how to use his credit card. And he had cash, and he wanted to pay cash. And it was like, oh, we can't even sell him a ticket. But we did, and I'm glad to say that Roger became our biggest fan. And he came back and I think saw almost every show we put on. So you never quite know what the festival's going to do. You open up on day one, and you sort of believe that people will arrive, and they do. And then 27 days later, they disappear as quickly as they've arrived, as if it never happened, and you take it all down again. But it was a really important festival for us to do. It was really vital for us, for the city, for the festival. I think people, lose that memory, that muscle memory of going to events, and particularly going to the theatre. So delivering something, however small, was really crucial. And I'm glad that everything seemed to have a very good time. I mean, the audience's response was fabulous. It was very, very small, but everything sold out. And it was a joy to be around the courtyard, because it felt like the festivals of old. I mean, it felt like 1985 again, where you get to see absolutely everything. You almost get to meet every single member of the audience. And all the performers, they sit around afterwards and have a glass of wine or a drink or whatever, and you get a proper chance to chat. So from that point of view, it was gorgeous.
It certainly is a great example of the expertise and the bravery of everyone involved in organising it, having that immense ability to adapt in a very uncertain time when people have been desperate for entertainment, for culture, and we really all do applaud the work and commitment of everyone involved at the Edinburgh Festivals, because we've been desperate to be entertained, to come together and have a good time. So thank you so much to you and all your colleagues for making this happen.
Well, I think the bravery of all those participants, I mean, all those performers who kept, a year and a half of closure in an arts organization, and you suddenly find that knowledge base goes, the crew starts to move away, the performers start to move away. And I'm incredibly grateful to all the performers and the crews and just the management teams who come back every year and help us put it together. Actually, their commitment to be part of it, has been incredibly, they're the real courageous ones, because they're the ones who really take the risk, in making it happen, and without them, it wouldn't exist. So it's been a really good sort of re-establishing those old connections and making sure that we haven't lost the energy and the spirit of the festival. The spirit has a strange spirit about it, and I think that people talk about the festival spirit, and in a year like this you really understand what that means, because there is a sense of being together, and you understand why festivals are so important. Bringing people together, sharing ideas, and seeing creative work and having creative conversations and clever ones. It's been a very, very important year.
It really does seem like a family, the community of artists, festival goers, performers, exhibitors, organisers, and of course the people of Edinburgh themselves, as well as visitors. It really does seem like a symbiotic relationship between all who come together for something incredibly unique.
Yeah, it is a family. It feels like a family. I mean, it's what draws me back to it every year, is seeing those people, and some of those people you only see them in August, and it feels very special. I mean, it like all families, it's probably pretty dysfunctional, but it's a joy to be part of.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it was, to paraphrase, almost like a return to roots this year, given the smaller nature of it, less performances than usual, but the opportunity to see everyone, most performances and artists. When for you did the festivals become the massive institution that they are today, and was that planned, or was it an organic growth through the years?
The Pleasance as a building, as buildings that belong to the university, there is a little theatre as part of the Pleasance, which is part of the university. it's actually been hosting shows on the Fringe since the very first year in 1947. In fact, 4 of those original Fringe companies performed at the Pleasance. The organisation as it stands now, the Pleasance Theatre Trust, Christopher Richardson founded it in 1985. He opened 2 theatres, one 300-seater and a little cabaret bar downstairs. He made £200. I think if he'd lost £200, he may not have come back in year 2. It grew to 2019. I mean, in 2019, we opened 33 venues and we sold, 600,000 tickets. So it's by far one of the biggest cultural events in its own right, let alone being part of the biggest festival in the world, which sells something like 3 million tickets. So it's evolved very, very slowly. I mean, we don't receive any public subsidy. It's been a deliberate choice not to apply for it because, we feel that, that subsidy ought to go towards the art. And that art then needs to support the fabric of the buildings and so on that keep it, that allow it to go on. So, I mean, with just careful planning each year, careful investment back into it, we've been able to add spaces. I think as it's become more expensive. I mean, there is more bureaucracy in our lives than there has ever been. I mean, to put on a festival now, to be a production manager of an event like this, you really do need a spine of steel, because you've got to put together the most unbelievably detailed risk assessments and health assessments, and all of that takes an enormous amount of work. Sometimes I think it's too much. I mean, sometimes I wonder who on earth reads any of these things, but we live in a litigious world, and that's what much of it is against. So, all of that energy and all of that, it has meant that it's almost been forced to grow, because it's the only way it becomes sustainable is if it gets to a certain size, a critical mass, where there's enough money to get from one festival to the next. Our challenge was always, you'd make a little bit of money in August and then you didn't earn it again until the following August. It's a long time to keep a team of people together. And that is in fact our biggest challenge going forward, is how do we get from one festival to the next? I mean, how do we get to 2022 when everything's beginning to come back to normal, the support's beginning to stop? That's our biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge I've ever faced.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen so many wonderful examples of artists being supported, over the course of the last year through events they can take part in, through Edinburgh festivals, where they would be able to, make money doing online performances with no commission taken by festivals. But what can the public do to support the festival's return next year? What can we do to help?
I mean, first of all, come back. In 2022, please come back and please come and be part of it. It's really, we can't do it without the audiences, and the audiences are really what we do it for. It's why performers come every year. So I'm fairly sure that, what we put on this year was a very safe event. I think people felt very safe. And I'm sure that by next year, we'll feel even safer. So I would say to anybody, make sure you come and take part. In the meantime, we've got to raise a lot of money in order to put the Pleasance back on its feet. The Pleasance is a not-for-profit charitable organisation. We have always relied on our ticket sales to survive, but it took 20 years to build the reserve that has allowed us to survive as long as we've had, that we've been able to through COVID. But we've got another year to go. And, if people do want to visit our crowdfunder, we have a crowdfunder page, Pleasance at Crowdfunder. If people want to find that and donate, well, we'd be incredibly grateful. I mean, we've got to find partnerships, financial partnerships that help underpin this. If we can be underpinned, then we can underpin the artists coming. I mean, it's what we've always done. The charity, anything we make goes back in at the bottom. and it helps, you know, all those young people who want to come and start jobs, all those young people who want to further those artistic careers. So if you're putting it into the Pleasance, well, then you're putting it directly into all of those people too. So if people are feeling generous and want to donate, well, we'd be delighted to hear from them.
Absolutely. We will make sure that the links are displayed at the bottom of the page for everyone to see as we have this conversation, because it is so essential that the arts survives and thrives. We as human beings need it. And with this prolonged period of alienation to a degree, you know, isolation, never has been more important.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, in the digital world alone, you know, opportunities for people to gather, share ideas. I mean, the festival has always been where our society kind of really, you know, looks itself in the mirror. And sometimes you're preaching to the converted, but every year I go and see something which completely changes my mind about something. You know, whether it's about mental health, whether it's about cancer, whether it's about domestic violence, whether that's through comedy or theatre or dance, it's an incredibly important part of our culture. And too often culture is considered as a privilege, and I don't believe it is a privilege. I think it's a fundamental part of who we are as human beings. And I think that not only the digital world, which disconnects us time and time again, mobile phones, and you know, we disappear into these digital little screens too often, and festivals bring people back together, and I think that's why they've been growing. But COVID has made that even more important. And I think the opportunities for people to gather and people to be together and share ideas is becoming ever more important. You know, you see how societies get completely split in terms of their opinions on things, and we form terribly polarized opinions on things. If we all spent a little more time considering things through the arts and how the arts can help us understand our lives better, then I think they're good things to be part of. And I think the festival does it in bucket loads. I mean, I think we deliver again and again and again, you know, some magnificent pieces of work that really make people sit up and think. And it's not inaccessible. You know, it's not expensive. I mean, the average ticket at the Fringe is still £11. I mean, it's the price of 3 cups of coffee.
Absolutely, and certainly most people are willing to pay these. Well, not to denigrate the cafes, of course, but of course, you know, it is important that arts are accessible for all, and certainly. Just to reinforce that notion and truth that arts really is for everyone, no matter the art form. You know, it's for everybody, and we can all learn something by seeing something that may challenge us. You know, whether that's an art form we're not used to experiencing, or even the content and themes of it.
10 years ago, my wife started the Pleasance Kids Zone, which was. I mean, really, because of our own children, you know, we realized that actually there wasn't anywhere for parents to go while their children were sort of engaged in creative kind of activities. So we created a place where they can come and take place in arts and crafts and then go and see shows. That has directly led to, I mean, in 2019, we had nearly 50,000 family tickets sold for young children, you know, from 6 months old right up to 18 years old. And that's our future audience. Those are the people who come back and advocate, you know, for the arts, for the festival, who want to then go on and create creative careers themselves. So it's amazing how if you connect, you know, people at a very young age, you really do get them for life.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. Of course. I mean, I can remember the first few formative experiences I had of being exposed to art and culture, you know, and if it weren't for those opportunities, who knows? I might have regarded it as something that just wasn't for me.
I mean, I think the first, that first lot who might have been 2 years old or 3 years old, they're now in their 20s. That group of people, they're now regular goers. I hope they are. I'm sure they are. I mean, I'm sure they'll bring their children, in maybe another 10 years' time. But it's really important that we make sure that we deliver programs for everybody, and that's what we try and do every year, is make sure that there is something for everybody to enjoy, and something which will challenge you, and something that will make you sit up and think, and some of it you might not enjoy, but it will at least have been an extraordinary experience. Well, that's what we hope.
It will be. Well, again, I must thank you and everyone that you work with for bringing this much needed human experience to everyone, as you have done over many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely to be part of it.
Thank you so much for your time as well. Anthony Alderson, Director of the Pleasance Theatre and Champion of Culture.
Sounds from Scotland is presented by the American Scottish Foundation, based in New York, established in 1956 as a bridge between Scotland and the United States. Its mission is as important today as it was when founded by Lord Malcolm Douglas Hamilton. If you'd like to keep in touch with us, we have our website at americanscottishfoundation.org. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even LinkedIn. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please do email us. We're always very happy to hear from you. It's americanscottishfoundation@gmail.com. And if you'd like to make a donation to the work of the American Scottish Foundation, you can do that through our website. Next up, we've got a lovely dedication from Laura Mcghee, who's a great friend to the ASF. This is Laura's piece, Commemoration, dedicated to all those who lost their lives in the 9/11 atrocity.
I'd like to finish this scene off now with a piece of music that's been well aired over in New York. I've performed it quite a few times for the 9/11 tribute at the British Memorial Garden, and this one's called Commemoration.
I love new music. New Scottish music, and Scotland is, of course, full of talent. You're going to hear some music now which you might never have heard. Hopefully you're going to discover something really special.
Paint I made was etched upon your face. The lines, designs of my mistakes. A bitter pill can't bear to taste. When I said can't do this again, the world was placed in my head. There was no good, just negative. So I collect these words as they are falling like the rain on the roof, and early morning wakes me. Thoughts of you, and I listen to the voices calling, goes through my head, and how they talk and they tell me to go to you. For you coursing through my veins and waves till I am no more. And though you feel the story is not real, just watch the hand, the heart they deal the cards of truth this time. So I collect these words as they are falling like the rain on the roof, and early morning wakes me with thoughts of you. And I listen to the voices calling, ghosts in my head, and how they talk and they tell me to go to you. Sweet, your light shine bright, illuminate my mind, and guide me home. Sweet, your light shine bright, my day and night. I want to know there are fear, the greatest part of me is somewhere left behind. 'Cause now it's clear the best part was you. What would you stand by? As we your light shine bright, illuminate my mind and guide me home. As we your light shine bright, my day and night. I want to know. As we your light shine bright, illuminate my mind and guide me home. As we your light shine bright, my day and night. is a flower, yours is like the rain. And when you rain upon me, you go and flood me out. My heart is a flower, yours is like the sun. And when you shine upon me, I will bloom for you. I will bloom for you. My love for you, your love for me too. Feel it in my bones, what can I do? Maybe we can work this out somehow. My goodbye should be no surprise right now. My heart is a memory, yours is all my thoughts. And when I think about you, my heart it starts to break. My heart is this love song, yours is its melody. My love for you, your love for me too. Feel it in my bones, what can I do? Maybe we can work this out somehow. But my goodbye should be no surprise right now. Ooh, yeah, yeah, my love for you, your love for me too. Feel you in my bones, what can I do? Maybe we can work this out somehow. But my goodbye should be no surprise right now.
This is Mike Nisbet. This is my track, Heavyweight State. I can't remember the last time we kissed. Where were the roses and where were your lips? As tears come on strong and your words were undefined. Cold was the water and hard was my mind. The last night of summer was the first time I trusted. Fueled by fantasy, we ate and we lusted. Flush was the night, your skin was on fire. Sweet was the smell and thick was my desire. Man, I really couldn't shed another tear. No love leaves you, carry my heart with you on an earthquake year. What on earth? This is where I touched, and this is where I kissed. This is where I lingered and where I missed. I dreamed out on Sunday, wrapped around silver. Cold was the blade and blue was my river. Man, I really couldn't shed another tear. No love leaves you, carry my heart with you on an earthquake year. What on earth? I'm a lion, I'm a butterfly, fist ringing with grace. Black was my eye, white was my face. Man, I really couldn't shed another tear. No love leaves you, carry my heart with you. What on earthquake year? What on earth? I can't remember the last time we kissed. Where were the roses and where were your lips? Hi, this is Mike Nisbet playing I Was a Great Lake Once for Amazing Radio. Oh, what is the night for? All lights, all sounds and words are omens. By morning I hope my fear has been stolen. These design lines run on unbroken. Oh, what is this ache for? Crack this head, it aches, it shakes. I'm floating. A moment, surely a dream. Don't let me be woken. Come knock my door, climb my stairs. I'm open. A Great Lake once, let my love renew. Oh, what is this shame for? Were you ever yourself? Did you ever let love in? Myself is myself, I'm bruised, I'm not broken. The devotion, a love, the reason my heart's swollen. My love is your love. My love runs through, and I was a Great Lake once. Let my love renew. I'm the wave, I'm the water, we're one token. A line of love around my finger is strong and unbroken. Yeah, I'm terrified to be wide open. Throw me from the endless night, deliver me from the ocean.
Something off about you, the way you notice everything. Got eyes in the back of your head, but that's not the strangest thing. Laughing down to your jaw, with your fingers wrapped around my arm. There's something else in the room, something more about you. Don't you think it's strange? You want me to watch you walk across the something off about you, acting like there's nothing wrong. Weird vibes and the things you say, are different people on different days. Thinking you was coming from, thinking you could do nothing wrong. Always waiting for what I spy, not the first by the end of the night. Don't you think it's strange? You want me to watch you while there is nothing. Don't you think it's strange? You want me to watch you while there is nothing. Should've seen you coming, should've known you were coming. Might see you time to time.
Thanks so much for joining us on Sounds from Scotland. My name is Jamie McGeechan. Until next time, we'll be back in October. All the best. Take care.
Where I'm drawn, pointed north, fluctuating, we never cross. You are my first aid manual. You are my paracetamol. You are my agent, giving me the strength I need to be the greatest I can be. This is poetry for a girl who can't love. And she can't love me. Charm me again with your arrogance. Is this room getting warmer? Are you waiting? Bless, pardon my ignorance. 'Cause when you look at me like that, it's contagious. You are the light when I need a spark. You are my courage when I'm in the dark. You were my first game of truth and dare. Even though you're not here, to me you're everywhere. This is poetry for a girl who can't love. She can't love me. No, she can't love me. No, she can't love me. No. You inspire me. You're amazingness, but I know nothing will become all.